Okay, let's see. Hopefully y'all can hear me. I'm not gonna be on here long tonight, y'all. Gotta fix my other phone. How is everybody doing? Hope everybody doing pretty good. Okay, y'all. Let's see. Sorry about that. Y'all do me a favor, if y'all don't mind, hit that like button. I would really appreciate it if you did. I'll be on for probably about an hour tonight, y'all. Not too long. It's not too long. So I don't have a call-in number tonight because I'm not going to stay on long tonight. Hopefully this will be my last live that I do from my cell phone. I'm getting ready to, I have an $800 camera and I haven't used the camera yet. But I'm going to use it this month, sometime this month. So I'm getting ready to get me another laptop that's strong enough to withstand the camera's output. So the quality of the YouTube channel and my videos will be a lot better. Charles, what's good, Charles? How you doing, man? What's good? I don't like the quality of this video at all, to be honest with you, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna go on my YouTube channel from my phone and see if I can read some of these questions from the community section in my channel. Just to answer a few questions. Let's see. I think I already answered this question. Does anybody have any I guess any criminal questions in regards to state court cases, with criminal cases, civil case, whatever it is? If I can answer the question, I'm gonna tell you. If I can't answer it, I'm gonna tell you. JR, what's good, man? What's good? I'm good, man. I'm good. Y'all hit that like button for me. I really appreciate it. If y'all don't mind, please hit that like button for me. Really appreciate it. Also, y'all, like, I am dyslexic as hell, y'all. Like, I don't know why, but like when I read, like if y'all listen to my videos and I'm reading from a case out loud, I stumble over the words. Sometimes I might say a word that's not even there, and I'm like, what the? When I go back and look at it, I'm like, that word is not even in the, like, I don't know. I'm just dyslexic as hell, but I don't really do that. Like when I'm reading cases silently in my head, I don't do that. I don't know why. It's just so weird, but I don't do it then. But anyway, I left some sources for you on the comments in the Maritime Part 2 videos. Okay. I'll check it out, Charles. I'll check it out. Appreciate it too. Thank you, by the way. Also, y'all, please don't take this personal. Sometimes I do see comments, but if I don't really study that particular subject matter that you study, then I can't even comment on it. I can't say if you're right or if you're wrong. I'm just going, like, I just look at it or whatever. But as far as the admiralty jurisdiction, that stuff, all of that stuff goes, I'm 100% sure that the nature of the action is admiralty when it comes to these so-called courts. That ain't no doubt in my mind. It's admiralty. Also, if you come on my channel, just spewing stuff, please cite your authority in support of your argument. Please do, because I'm trying to preserve the integrity of my channel to the best of my abilities. So that's why I got to be like that. No offense to anybody. Let's see. What else? 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 Let's see. What Whew. Yeah, you're right, Charles. It's Admiralty. In fact, I had a judge, so-called judge. I remember this was a circuit court case or whatever. And this, I was still new to all of this stuff. Yeah, I was fresh. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I knew a little, but I didn't know enough to go up in and be able to combat their tricks at will. This is stuff that I had to study. But I used the Sixth Amendment argument on them. It was either the Fifth Amendment. I think it's the Sixth Amendment. It says you have a right to know the nature, and cause of the action or whatever. So I asked him, and he looks at me. He says it's not common law jurisdiction. He didn't say nothing else. So he told me without telling me. I knew it wasn't equity because there are no statutes in equity, and equity doesn't have criminal jurisdiction. So it's only common law, and it's only admiralty maritime, something to that effect. I have an old case that I'll do a video on that actually mentions the criminal, if I'm not mistaken, the so-called criminal aspect of admiralty jurisdiction. But I don't think any of that stuff is criminal. I just think that they are calling it criminal because in that particular jurisdiction, where the sovereign people of the states have invested that privilege to regulate that particular jurisdiction, so to speak, if that makes sense. So in that particular jurisdiction, our subjects, which would be the legislatures, they are sovereign so long as they don't act outside of that particular jurisdiction. So if that's what they want, if they want to call it criminal, then they can. But I don't think it's criminal. They just filing lawsuits. That's all this stuff is. All these people, they're filing lawsuits against you. That is all that's going on. Notice, like, I'm not sure if some of y'all know this, but like, for example, if I sue somebody, I personally cannot serve the summons and the complaint on whoever it is I'm suing according to their rules or something like that. Okay. But a police officer works for the state. But they are not prosecuting you. What I mean is the police officer is not making the claim against you. So he can issue the service of process against you, the summons and the complaint. The prosecutor can do it because he doesn't have a claim against you. He can issue service of process to you. Even the judge can. Anybody who's not the actual so-called injured party can issue the service of process against you. In other words, they can perfect the service of process against you. Okay, but if you go up in there and you ask them, do they have a claim against you? Because that's all it is. This is an insurance claim. That's all it is. So, but if you ask them this, they'll either look at you like you crazy, or they're going to deny it, and they're going to tell you the state is the claimant. But you can't summon the state down to come and testify on the stand. It's not real. Not only that, how is the state is the claimant when you are the state? Ain't no state without you. You are the state. Anyway, it's all civil because of the value on the bonds. What do you mean, Charles? The value on the bonds? Check out supplemental rules on admiralty cases. Okay. He will break down the jurisdiction. There's a message. Let me see if I can watch. Let me see. Well, I for some reason, Jeremy Love, the comment that you put before, it says he'll break down the jurisdiction. It says the message has been retracted. So I'm not sure what that is. But anyway, y'all hit that like button for me, please. If y'all don't mind, hit that like button for me. They are working outside of any jurisdiction. I don't know, Jeremy. I kind of disagree a little, and I'll tell you why. Because it's all through fraud. Like they're actually tricking you into their jurisdiction. But here's the whole problem with this jurisdiction thing. people think jurisdiction is a place. It's not a place. Jurisdiction is just the authority of somebody to do something. That's essentially what it is. It's not a place. Not only that, you can't, in regards to the territorial jurisdiction, you can't see the territory. This stuff, in my opinion, it's abstract. It's like air or whatever. Allegedly it's there, but you just can't see it. You know what I mean? I know it's probably confusing, and I really don't know any other way to try to explain it. I don't even know. I honestly don't even know what territorial jurisdiction is. I haven't really studied it much, but my guess is some of this stuff they're making this stuff very, very, very obscure. They're being very vague. Like, for example, it's like they're hiding it. They're saying it, so to speak, without saying it. Like, I remember when I first got into this, and I would see videos when people are getting arrested, or the police or somebody from the state was trying to do something to them, and the man or woman would say, "I don't consent. I don't consent." And and people would call these people crazy. When in fact, these people are not crazy, because you cannot do anything to them without their consent, because they are not sovereign. You are. Public servants are not sovereign. So this goes to what they call it, the so-called sovereign citizen or whatever. I don't even know what the hell that is, to be honest with you. It's a misnomer. But anyway, there was a case I put on my channel. It's an old case from Alabama. I think it's from like 1800s, something like that. And it specifically tells you how courts, so-called courts, get jurisdiction over you. And it says by perfecting, they have to perfect service of legal process, meaning they have to serve you a summons and a complaint, or your consent. That's exactly what it says. I showed the video. It's on the video. But they don't call it consent today. They go it's by another name. They call it by making a general appearance, or by making a voluntary appearance. You see what I'm saying? It's like they just be hiding this stuff, man. Check out Yusuf. Yeah, I follow Yusuf, Jeremy. As a matter of fact, shout out to Yusuf, because Yusuf let me use his channel to promote my channel for free. So whenever my money get right the way I want it to, I'm just gonna send Yusuf something just randomly. He's not gonna even know it, but I'm gonna send him probably about $50 to $100 just because. Jurisdiction, air, land, water. Let me go up. It's only 3 jurisdictions: air, land, water. That's another good way to look at it, Charles. I didn't even think about it like that. That's a good way to look at it too. Although I only understand it in terms of the way that it's mentioned in the Constitution, being common law, admiralty, equity, and maritime. Every criminal statute has a value. That's interesting, Charles. Very interesting. Randy Hansen, sup? Haven't caught you live in a while. I know, man. I be busy. I'm working on cases and all types of stuff, y'all. So that's really the issue. I'm working on the cases. I had to pause the ebook, so I can't really I can't finish the ebook for the District of Columbia, because I'm working on cases for people. High frequency radio. What they are doing is skipping part of the administration process. I can agree with that, Jeremy. I can agree with that. When you say administration process, do you mean the procedure aspect of it? Because if that's what you mean, then that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. All of that stuff is just a presumption anyway, man. They don't follow their own rules, man. Y'all hit that like button for me. Let me see how many people we got. 8 people. I have 8 people. I can't get 8 likes. Really, I can't get 8 likes. That's crazy. Y'all stingy. Y'all stingy, man. That's crazy. I can't get 8 likes from 8 people. Let's see. Hold on. Air jurisdiction is air trust law. Okay. Land jurisdiction is common law, the law of the land, constitution. Okay. That's why there are no common law courts. Well, I disagree with that, Charles. I'll tell you why. Not saying you're wrong. I just disagree with it. And there is the water, which is the admiralty in contracts and commerce. Water is money, liquefaction. Okay, the charges like a charge card. Okay. And you have to pay the debt. Okay. You have to pay the debt. Administration is admiralty. I don't know. I can't really say administration is admiralty because all 3 branches of government, so-called 3 branches of government, they are all administrative agencies. The judiciary, the legislature, and the executive. They are all administrative agencies, every single one of them. Because the law, what they are administering is the law of the sovereign, and that is the law of the people. They are administering the Constitution. They all administrative agencies. They're just not administrative agencies of the legislature. They're administrative agencies of the people, the sovereign. And I haven't read that anywhere, y'all, just to let y'all know. I haven't read what I just said in no case. It just makes so much sense to me. My bad, bro. I hit the like because I'm ready to learn and build with you. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. They all have different administrative processes. I would agree with that. I would agree with that. That happened because of the bankruptcy. So let's go back to okay, Charles, you said, I think you said, and that's why there are no common law courts or something like that. I'm gonna tell you why I disagree with that. Courts of general jurisdiction are in fact common law courts. That's what general jurisdiction is. This they are superior courts and they hear all cases. That means they hear cases at law, in equity, maritime, and admiralty. Okay, the plaintiff always picks the jurisdiction of the case by the facts that she or he is alleging in the complaint and the remedy that she or he is asking for. If you're asking for a remedy that is exclusive to the jurisdiction of common law, then you have properly invoked the jurisdiction of common law. You don't cite no statutes at all, period, because there are no statutes in common law. Your authority, give me a second. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back, y'all.
I want some cheese.
Finish eating that first. You made all your food. Oh, sorry about that, y'all. That's my water at. I lost my train of thought, y'all. I'm so sorry. I lost my train of thought just that fast. In the U.S., they are all administrative. Nope, they don't. Charles Alexander William. Okay, you can invoke the common law in certain cases where the common law is competent to give it. Yeah, you can. That's true. That's true. What you need to know is if it's an Article 1 court or Article 3 court. I can tell you if it's an Article 1 court or an Article 3 court just by looking at the complaint. I can. Because if somebody has filed a so-called criminal charges against your person, I'm gonna say your person because it's not you, against your person, and they are doing it under a statute, then that court, so-called court, is no longer, even if it is a court that was created by the Constitution, that court is no longer acting as a court created by the Constitution. It is acting as a legislative court. So in other words, it's no longer a superior court for the purpose of that particular case. It is an inferior court. It is an administrative court of extremely limited jurisdiction. Let me see. That the savings to the suitors clause. I don't really study that, Charles. So you may be a little right. You may be right about that. I can't say if you're right or wrong. Jeremy, Mr. Love, I did a video on what I just said. It's called the secret courts. I think it's inferior courts within superior courts. I did 2 parts to it, and I'm showing you the cases where they are hit. The courts all over the country are saying what I just said. That's a common law principle. Because remember now, courts of general jurisdiction, they can hear all types of cases. I mean, yeah, so since it's a court of general jurisdiction and the legislature has so-called authorized, or so to speak, well, no, the legislature can't. Hold on, I'm a little lost on that. Hold on, I got to get my thoughts together. I'm gonna have to come back to that one. That one's a little tricky. Let me see. You always want to get things into a court of record. Yeah, but you have legislative courts that are not courts of record, because generally speaking, courts of records are proceeding to the jurisdiction of common law. This is what they're doing, Jeremy. You need to go and watch that video, because I mentioned all this stuff in that video. What the legislature is doing is they are trying to make their inferior courts look like our courts by calling them courts. They are not courts. They're not. Not only that, what they also did, how they trick people, is they did not pick their judges who they wanted in their legislative courts. So in essence, what I'm trying to say is the so-called judges that were duly appointed by the sovereign people of whatever state pursuant to the Constitution are also the same judges who are so-called judges who the legislature is using to adjudicate public policy. That's what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing. So just like it might be a court of record only because the statute makes it a court of record, but there are no statutes in common law and there are no statutes in equity. Ain't none. That's exactly what they are. They are executive administrators. They are enforcing public policy. That's what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing. And they tricking people real good, because if you don't know it, you can't see it. I don't care if they call it a court, it's not a court. I don't care what they say. Like, y'all see how I'm just spewing all of this stuff from I'm not reading nothing, because I've already read the stuff. I'm not reading nothing. And I don't want to give off the impression that I know what I'm talking about. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just repeating everything the judges, so-called judges, are saying. And the only thing that they're doing is repeating what the other so-called judges are saying. That's what they do. That's what we're doing. This is what they say. That's how you when they try to ask you, are you practicing law or stuff like this? No, I'm not. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just repeating everything what your colleagues are saying. I'm repeating everything that your colleagues are saying. That's it. This is what your colleagues say. Your colleagues say that this is a corporation. Your colleagues say that you are an executive administrator because you are enforcing statutes. And members of the so-called judiciary do not enforce statutes. See, I'm gonna decipher this for y'all. The people, the sovereign people of the states, picked, let me rephrase that, created courts to adjudicate their private rights, okay? That's what they did. And to be protective of their private rights. That is their job. That's it. The legislature created administrative inferior courts to protect public rights. That's it, y'all. That's it. So true members of the judiciary protect your private rights. True members of the executive branch of government, they enforce the law. They're going to adjudicate public rights. That's exactly what they're doing, y'all. That's why they don't want y'all in an Article 3 court. That's why they changed your status. That's why they made you into a person and no longer one of the people, or so to speak. That's why the legal person has civil rights that has been granted to it by the legislature, or so to speak. And the people, or the living flesh and blood man, or so to speak, or whatever, their rights come from their creator, which is God. They have natural, unalienable rights, or it's one of the two, something like that. And they're hiding this stuff. This is a word game these people are playing, man. The Constitution is founded on natural God's law. I've read, Charles, when you say natural law of God's law, something like that, do you mean? Well, I would say common law is in essence natural law, God's law, because common law just follow principles, like treat me how you want to treat me, how you want me to treat you. Don't steal from me. Don't put your hands on me. Don't steal none of my stuff. Don't just treat me how you want me to treat you. I think, if I'm not mistaken, common law and equity is based on like a natural law, like sort of in regards to like God's law, so to speak. If I'm not mistaken, I would say that's what common law and equity is. That's why equity says to do equity, you must get equity. He who seeks equity must come into equity with clean hands, and so on and so forth, like that. I'm actually throwing stuff out to test my own knowledge. I'm only 6 months in and I understand quite a bit. That's real good for 6 months. But still putting it together like you. Yeah, same here, man. Same here. I'm still connecting pieces of the puzzle, man. That's all I'm doing. I'm trying to connect the pieces of the puzzle like everybody else. That is trust law. The law of nations. The law of nations is trust law? Charles, is that what you're saying? Let me make sure I didn't miss any comments. I'm gonna scroll up a little bit more, y'all. Okay. I'm gonna tell y'all something. This is how I know that there are not only 2 Supreme Courts, there are 2 of so many courts all over the country. So let's say we're gonna use the people of Georgia for an example. So let's say the sovereign people of Georgia create a court that they call the Superior Court in this particular county or whatever. We're gonna use Atlanta. I don't know which county Atlanta is in. It's probably in Cobb County, I think, or something like that. But anyway, so the sovereign people of Georgia, they create a court of general jurisdiction in their constitution. Okay. That court exists independent of the legislature. The legislature cannot destroy that court. The legislature cannot tell the judicial officer of that court what to do. There's only one coordinate department of government that can do that, and that is the sovereign people of Georgia. They can abolish that court whenever the hell they want. They can nullify every Supreme Court decision in the state of Georgia that they don't like at will whenever they want. They can change their constitution in the state of Georgia whatever they want because they sovereign. So back to what I was saying. But let's say since this is a court of general jurisdiction, obviously this court is authorized to hear cases at law, in equity, maritime, and admiralty. So the legislature, they also create a court. They might a legislative court, an inferior court. And let's say the so-called court that they created or whatever with the same exact name has the same exact so-called judge or whatever. This particular judge, whoever she or he may be, somebody invokes that judge's jurisdiction under a statute. It's no longer superior court. As a matter of law, it is no longer a superior court. It is an inferior court. It is no longer acting as a judicial court or a court that was created by the Constitution in that particular capacity. It is, at least I don't think it is. It is a legislative tribunal. Let me rephrase that. It is a legislative, it's a legislative tribunal. And that's exactly what it is. That's what it is. What's good, Marco? Is trust law? No, natural law. Natural law is trust law. I can kind of see that. I can kind of see that. Okay, see how many people we got. I got 4 people. Okay, well, I mean, I got 4 people watching. I got 4 likes. I can't complain. I can't complain, man. But if you haven't liked the video yet, please go ahead and hit that like button. Let's see. What we got? Trying to think. What types of videos that I need to do, y'all, that I guess that y'all would want me to do, because I've been reading a lot of, when I don't be online and I be studying cases for other people and stuff like that, I come across some good cases, some really good cases. I found one case to where, where they're allowing, like if you're past the statute of limitations on your 42 section 1983 lawsuit, then in some cases, pursuant to the doctrine of, I think they call it equitable tolling, you can get it tolled and your case would be allowed to proceed pursuant to that remedy in equitable tolling. And if I'm not mistaken, I think a lot of so-called states do that. That's something that I do want to talk about. I do want to get back into studying equity and teaching it. Well, I can't really say I'm teaching it because I'm just repeating what the so-called chancellors are saying. So that's essentially what I would be doing. But it's just something that I'm very interested in. Very interested in. This stuff it's not hard, y'all. It is not hard at all. All of this stuff is the same. I don't care if it's a civil case or a criminal case. All you're doing is, if it's a so-called criminal case, what the state's so-called witness has to do is they have to plead facts. That's it. They can't make legal conclusions without those facts, because when they do, they violate due process, and when they do, you motion to dismiss because the so-called complaint is devoid of the prerequisite elements of the offense. It violates due process, it's vague, it's conclusory, and it's legally insufficient as a matter of law. Say something like that. Same thing goes in a civil case. In that particular case, you're the prosecutor. You pick the cause of action. You pick which evidence that you're asking for. You pick, you make the allegations or whatever. You cannot say this police officer unlawfully arrested you without facts supporting how you came to that conclusion. If you do that, you violate due process, and that is why they're going to file a Rule 12b-6 motion to dismiss for failure to state a claim. It's the same thing, y'all. All of this stuff is the same. It's all the same thing. For example, on the criminal side, they call it double jeopardy. On the civil side, they may call it equitable estoppel or res judicata. It's the same thing, though, y'all. The same thing. The elements might be a little different, but the purpose of the affirmative defense, because that's what they are, it's an affirmative defense, it would be the same thing. The purpose of it is to dispose of the case in your favor. That's it. Same thing, y'all. Same thing. Well, I need to clean out my office desk. Y'all see all this junk on my desk? Look a mess. Let me go in and see what we got here. Hurry up, get instant saving. I don't know what this is. Anybody got any more questions, man? Any more questions? I'm gonna be here for probably about 30 more minutes, and I'm gonna get on up out of here, man. Get on up out of here. I can't wait to get this other computer, y'all, and use this camera because I am so tired of using this phone. Can't wait. Let's see what we got. There is somebody asked me a question. I can't really remember what that question was. Let me see. Hold on, y'all. Natural law, that is trust law. Actually going off stuff. Jeremy, you said you've been doing this for 6 months. That's pretty good, like I said earlier. That's pretty good. It took me a little longer than that. Let me rephrase it. It took me a lot longer than that. This stuff, for me, it did not start making sense to me until I became a plaintiff in a case. When I became a plaintiff in a case, I realized that I was a prosecutor, because that's what you are. In fact, they will dismiss your case for want of prosecution if you don't prosecute your lawsuit in federal court. Rebut the presumption. Natural law. I'm a little lost, Charles. What you mean, rebut the presumption? Let me see. I understand a bit, but still putting it together. Also, God don't like homosexual. Stop it. I don't know what that is. But anyway, also, Jeremy, well, this is for everybody, actually. You might see cases that they like to call it so-called sovereign citizens or whatever that they might cite. And let's say you want to go and read the case, but the citation that they're claiming is in the case may not expressly be in the case. Just because it is not expressly in the case does not mean that the holding in which whoever is claiming that was held, it could. What I'm trying to get you to understand is there are express holdings and implicit holdings. I've seen cases where so-called judges expressly hold judgments based on what's said in the case implicitly. I know that's probably a little confusing. So what I'm trying to get y'all to understand is just because it doesn't expressly say it doesn't mean you're wrong. If it's implicitly in the case, then yes. Somebody calling my phone. Hold on, y'all. Let me turn this phone off. They always do that every time I go live. They always do that. All they have is presumptions and assumptions. Oh, well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, but you know what? I'm not really sure how right I would be if I were to say this, but I think that's only in their jurisdiction or something like that. I don't see how. Well, I don't know. I could be wrong. But so I'm not gonna really too much comment on it because I could be wrong. But yeah, all of that stuff is a presumption. The entire record is a presumption, unless it's supported by by facts that are in the record. Like, for example, if a judge say, like, for example, let's say you got a judge issues an order, they say, and they hold a hearing without you knowing about it. And in the order, they say so-and-so was issued service of process, so-and-so didn't come to court, so we're going to issue a judgment by default against him. What they're doing is they're presuming that you that service of process was perfected against your person. So how you rebut that presumption is you just come in, you file a motion to vacate for motion to vacate the void judgment because the manner in which it was disposed of was contrary to due process because you didn't receive service of process, something like that. That's really what it is. What about when you have a case where there is no complaint on file and the charge was said to be indicted, but you file a 12B motion for failure to state a cause of action because they don't have a complaint? Well, that Rule 12B motion, that's civil, so-called civil. So what you would do, you would just be filing a motion to dismiss. But you say they don't have a complaint. It depends on what the jurisdiction of in your particular so-called state, because they may be authorized in your particular state to indict you. In other words, what I'm trying to say is the indictment is the equivalent to a complaint. It doesn't have to say complaint in order for it to be a complaint. Let me see. They don't have a complaint. You need to get a copy of the indictment. That's what you need to do because they can probably indict you pursuant to an affidavit. As a matter of fact, I'm almost certain they can indict you pursuant to an affidavit because you can they can't bring. Well, I know in Alabama, they either indict you or they bring a criminal complaint against you, if I'm not mistaken, in Alabama. But the complaint is the equivalent of an affidavit. It has to, the allegations against you have to be made under oath. Let me see. If you hear argument, judge has a tendency to circumvent whether attorney or you catch it. What do you mean, Diesel? I'm a little confused about what you mean. Only 5 HM. Let me see. I'm sure it will be 100 soon. Top dog. I appreciate it, Top Dog. If I could afford it, how much for a 30-minute phone call? $25. It's $25. I really do this to help people. Of course, I charge for my time, but this stuff is mentally exhausting. I'm not even finna lie. All right, I got 9 people. I need 9 likes. I got 9 people watching this video. I need 9 likes. But back to what I was saying. I really want to help people. That's why I'm not. What I do. I'm kind of a little expensive when I start litigating cases. Helping with in things of that nature because that stuff is mentally exhausting. It is mentally exhausting. I'm not even gonna lie. They don't have an affidavit neither. We pulled the whole record. So no affidavit. And okay, what you need to do, Romeo, now is to see how are they to proceed in your state, well, probably to the 4th Amendment, because I would say that is superior over the state constitution. See how do they properly invoke that court's, well, no, because subject matter jurisdiction is derived from the Constitution and statutes. So you need to see how do they properly bring charges against you, how they're supposed to do it for your particular state. What state are you so-called in, Romeo? I'm gonna see if I can help you right quick. We're gonna look it up right now. Let me see. Have a motion to dismiss with prejudice or motion to dismiss without prejudice. Motion to dismiss stays open to come. Okay, let me see. If you hear argument, judge has a tendency to circumvent whether attorney or you catch it. I'm a little confused at what you're saying, Diesel. Have a motion to dismiss with prejudice, without prejudice. Yeah, motion to dismiss stays I mean, without prejudice. Essentially, it stays open. When they do that, if this is criminal or something like that, or like if they know process or something like that, I would just after some time, I would petition for an expungement to get it expunged if you can. That's what I would do. Ohio is the state. Okay. All right, give me a second. I would have to go and read the rules of criminal procedure for Ohio, but let me see if I can find something right quick. Okay, hello, my serious friend. Amir, what's good? What's good? Okay, here it is right here. Romeo. This is what I'm seeing. In Ohio, criminal offenses are charged by indictment or information. They get this. The authority that they're citing is Article 1, Section 10 of the Constitution for Ohio. And we have explained that for purposes of RC, blah, 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 a conviction consists of a guilty verdict and the imposition of a sentence or penalty. The evidence, well, let me see. Okay. Here's something else. Jerome, what's good, man? What's good? Romeo, here's something else. It says whether a criminal action is properly invoked by an indictment or a criminal complaint is a matter of Ohio criminal procedural law, not federal constitutional law. So I was wrong about what I said earlier. These are just case citations from cases that I'm reading. So what you need to do is you need to go and read cases. That's how don't read no statutes, because they just sometimes these statutes they confuse me. I'm not even finna lie to you. They confuse me, and I just get frustrated with it. And when I'm frustrated with it and I don't want to deal with it no more, I just start reading cases to let them explain it to you better. They don't have an affidavit either. We pulled the whole record. Okay. Ohio is the state. Hopefully that I answered your question, Jeff. What I'm gonna do is let me see if I can. I'm gonna cite this. Let me see if I can find something else. Misdemeanor charges are frequently not addressed by defendants. Blah blah blah. Now, what you can do, they'll probably say you waived that defense though. You can see if they filed the charge, the so-called criminal charge against your person within the statutes of limitations. Criminal charges are generally, and in this case, specifically based on statutory law. This is interesting. Criminal charges are generally, and in this case, specifically based on statutory law, whatever. The judge said he can't hear the motion unless personal jurisdiction is cured. What, the motion to dismiss? If he told you that, he lying. I'm telling you right now, that's what the judge said. They're lying. They don't need personal jurisdiction to determine if they have personal jurisdiction over you, or to determine if the complaint is meritless or not. He's lying. If that's what you're talking about, they lying. Matter of fact, you can file a motion in court, and the court still would not have jurisdiction over you. They still won't have jurisdiction over you. Yeah, well, they lying. The judge says she can't hear the motion until personal jurisdiction is clear. They're lying. They are lying. That's what they did. They're lying. What she's trying to do, she's trying to trick you. That's what she's trying to do. So what you can do is, when I file any of my pleadings, I don't go in as, I file my pleadings in a manner in which they know that I know what I'm talking about. I don't never say I'm the defendant. I say I'm the state, because I am the state. Ain't no state without the people. So I go in, I make a special appearance under duress, and I act like I'm a real deal sovereign in there. I say, this is my court. You are my subjects. These are the terms that I use in my paperwork. I'm not playing. I'm dead serious. Now, of course, you're gonna get some pushback, or they might call you crazy or whatever. But if they, once they read your paperwork, they might test you to see if you know what you're talking about. They might do that. So she forced the public defender on the case. She can't force nobody on you. She can't do that. I don't care what she did. She can't do that. If you don't want that public defender, then you just don't want that public defender. She can't do that. See, what she's trying to do is, because they don't get jurisdiction over you unless you knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily waive your right to counsel. Then they get jurisdiction over you. But if they convict you and you didn't waive this right, and that right was applicable at that particular time, then the judgment is void. You can appeal it, and they have to. It's reversible error. They have to avoid it, because they don't have what they call it. I want to say in personam jurisdiction. They have subject matter jurisdiction, but they can't exercise jurisdiction over you. The judge says she can't hear the motion until personal jurisdiction is cured. Yeah, I bet she did. I bet she did, the administrator, because that's what she's doing, because they did it under statute. They filed a lawsuit against you. That's what they're trying to do. I wish there was a flow chart for these traffic court cases. What do you mean, Top Dog? What do you mean? Enemy motion. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? I'm sorry if I'm not reading all your comments. I'm sorry, y'all. Let's see, I got 9 people watching. I got 9 likes. I'm fine with that. I'm cool with that. Cool with that. It is well settled that appeals in criminal cases are controlled by the statutes of the subject. If you look at a bill of attire, the bill of attire is the same as administrative law, the 4 elements. Let me see what I don't know what I haven't heard that term before. A bill of attire. Be right back, y'all. I forgot I gotta go do something. Be right back. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that, y'all. Bill of attire. Bill of attire. Let me look this up right quick, because I've never heard of that term before. I'm guessing you mean, did you mean bill of attainder? Probably mean bill of attainder. I think that's what you mean. I think that's what you meant. If you look at a bill of attainder, is the same as the administrative. I would agree with that. But they call it The problem with these legislative courts, I'm not sure if y'all watched this video when I say they're not courts, they're administrative agencies, is these administrative agencies are members of the executive branch of government. However, they are exercising all three powers of government. They don't call it judicial power or legislative power. They call it quasi-judicial and quasi-legislative. I don't call it that. I know I'm no longer using that term, and I'll tell you why. The reason is because it is done in another jurisdiction. It's maritime. I mean, not maritime. It's admiralty jurisdiction. And in that particular jurisdiction, they have plenary power. In that particular jurisdiction, that is the authority. What they're not exercising quasi-legislative or quasi-judicial authority, in my opinion. They are exercising plenary power. That is what they are doing, in my opinion. So I'm planning to push for a writ of mandamus to force the judge to set a hearing on the motion to dismiss. You can do that. You can do that. Because, let me see, a writ of mandamus, the duty that she has to perform, that she's performing, has to be ministerial. I'm convinced that if they are required to follow the Constitution, that is a ministerial duty, because they are all administrative agencies. All of them are. Sorry, working on check. It's cool, Diesel. No problem. No problem. Let me ask you this, Jeff. What is the basis for the motion to dismiss? What facts do you have in support of your motion to dismiss? I wish I had a call-in number, so you could have, this would have been a lot quicker to just talk about it so people can hear it. Whew. How was everybody week, man? Everybody week was pretty good? Hopefully it was. Today is Friday, man. It's raining over here, by the way. They are private corporations. Yeah, they are. I believe administrative is under executive, not judicial. Yeah, that would be correct, Diesel. That would be correct. That's correct, but what I just said is they don't have judicial power. They call it, what they're doing is they are treating it. I've read cases to where they specifically say that they don't have judicial authority or legislative authority, but they are treating it as if they do, meaning like their rules, they might make an administrative rule, and that rule would have the same effect as a statute or something like that. Or when they adjudicate a case or whatever, they're saying if the so-called administrator is exercising discretion, and that discretion is if I'm not mistaken, is a function of a judicial officer, then the judge is acting in a judicial capacity. You see what I'm saying? That's what they're doing. But what I'm saying is this: they don't have any. I can pull up the cases and show you. I know they don't in Alabama. I know they don't. They don't have any judicial or legislative authority in these administrative courts, or power, whatever you want to call it. What, in my opinion, what they are exercising is plenary power, because these are legislative tribunals. They are inferior courts. And the legislature has plenary power in their particular jurisdiction. Okay. Now, the ultimate so-called lawmaking power does not belong to the legislature. It belongs to the sovereign people of wherever state invested the legislature with that privilege. That's a privilege, and that privilege can be taken from them whenever the sovereign people decide to do it. Yes, they do, Charles. They do. They have Dun and Bradstreet, Dunn's numbers. I know. I've seen the numbers. Um, I have a Dunn's number for my business. Not only that, if they not corporations, then why do they have insurance? When I sued the police in my case, the police officers, they were covered under the city's insurance. The insurance corporation was called the Alabama Municipal Insurance Corporation. As a matter of fact, at my settlements conference, well, let me go back a little bit. When we were going through discovery, I got a copy of their insurance policy. I still have it on my computer. Not only that, at the settlement conference, they had an insurance adjuster at the settlements conference. I didn't know it was an insurance adjuster though. This is an insurance. That's why they call it a claim. It's an insurance claim. They doing business. If they not corporations, why do they have insurance? Why do they have bonds if they not corporations? Why do they have Dunn's numbers if they're not corporations? Why are they called persons if they're not corporations? The case is in the Second Amendment issue, solely arrested for exercising my Second Amendment right in violation of a statute where there is no harm to life, liberty, or property. Okay. Ooh, I don't really study those. I would need some more on it, some more to see, because I don't really study it. They might be, what you might have, they might be calling it a firearm, but it's not really a firearm or whatever. Boy, they real tricky, y'all. They real tricky. Tricky. I done went over the time a little bit. I'm supposed to be gone. What do y'all want? Look, do y'all want me to stay in at least another hour? If y'all want me to stay in one more hour, I'll do that. I can't stay a little longer than that. So just let me know. If y'all don't have any more questions, I just go ahead and I go ahead and get off the live. No problem, Lisa. No problem. Let's see. Check this out. So let me ask you something. Jeff, what I forgot the question. It was a good question too. I think it was in regards to personal jurisdiction. Okay, are you challenging the jurisdiction, Jeff? Are you challenging the jurisdiction? That's why it's maritime. Yeah, I agree with that, y'all. I agree with that. See, people think, okay, so he's challenging the jurisdiction. Now, they have to not only prove, they have to prove in personam jurisdiction, and they have to prove territorial jurisdiction. So this territorial jurisdiction is legislative jurisdiction. All legislation is territorial. So what I'm trying to get you to understand is you can challenge territorial jurisdiction over you. You can do that. I'm trying to think of I've never done it before. So I'm trying to think of a way to do it other than the fact of you saying that the statute doesn't lawfully apply to you, because in actuality, it doesn't. It doesn't apply to you. See, what they do is they'll come back and say that it does apply to you because you're a citizen, and this is a firearm that's registered with this something. They'll do something like that without telling you everything that they're supposed to tell you as far as how are you subject to the statute or something like that. Because I'm gonna tell you this is a good argument now. If the Constitution does not say what you can and cannot do, but the Constitution is superior to a statute. And how can a statute tell you what to do when the Constitution can't? The Constitution doesn't apply to you. It's private. I mean, it's for the public. It doesn't apply to you. So how can a statute lawfully apply to you? I live in Missouri, but the case is in Ohio. Hold up. Okay, you live in Missouri, but the case is in Ohio. They don't have no minimum context. So let me see something. You must have just been traveling through Missouri, and they just so happen to stop you and pick this up and something like that. Would that be correct? Because if that is correct, they don't have any sufficient minimum context. You're not a resident of Missouri. You don't have a driver's license for Missouri. You didn't injure anybody in Missouri personally. You see what I'm saying? I think that's what you say. If that's what you're saying, I don't think that they have the minimum context to do that. And if they're alleging that they do, or if they're contending, meaning they're arguing that they do, then demand. I would motion for to dismiss for lack of jurisdiction, because the court hasn't not the court, but the prosecution or the state or whatever hasn't produced any evidence suggesting that the alleged defendant has any sufficient minimum context with this foreign state, because it's foreign to you. They're all countries anyway. Ohio. Hopefully that makes sense to you, Jeff. Check out Randy Kelton in the process of suing all the judges in Texas. There's a guy in Georgia, and he knows exactly what he's doing too. He's doing the same thing. He's not suing all of them, but he's suing a few of them that had their hands in his case. From my understanding, subject matter jurisdiction. I'm gonna stop right there. Notice that they use this term subject. Subject is somebody, in my opinion, who's under the control or jurisdiction of somebody else. Now, I might be fishing a little bit too much. I'm gonna study that though, because they're not calling it subject matter jurisdiction for nothing. I don't think that they are. Let me see. From my understanding, subject matter jurisdiction is jurisdiction over the criminal case. Because without a standing party, there is no subject matter jurisdiction. That's correct, Jerome. Standing is a necessary prerequisite to subject matter jurisdiction. Civil jurisdiction, you need a valid claim. Ohio, they pretended to have criminal cases, yet they are civil. That's correct too. It's all civil. In my opinion, don't sue judges unless you want all the wrong enemies. Hey, forget them, man. Forget them. Because they ever give me a chance, I'm going to sue them. Or I'm going to file a claim against their bond. I'm doing everything. These people are not immune. They bleed just like you do. If they don't drink water in a whole week, they'll probably die just like you. They get buried just like you when they die, or they're going to get cremated or whatever you want to call it. We ain't doing that. No disrespect to you, Jerome, either. But nah, we ain't doing that, because somebody got to put these people in check, because they think they can't be checked. Let me tell y'all something, man. There are, and I'm explaining this, 4 departments of government. Now, I've read cases where they say the administrative agents, they call them the 4th branch of government or whatever. I don't call them that. And I'm going to tell y'all these 4 departments of government: the legislature, the judiciary, the executive, and the sovereign. That would be the people. The sovereign checks every branch of government. That's their purpose. That's why the legislature is always trying to act like the people. They always trying to do that. How are you going to tell me that I can't smoke weed? How you gonna tell me that I can't, that women, they can't be a prostitute or whatever it is they trying to do? I'm not saying I support prostitution, but what I'm saying is if she's grown and she's competent to understand what she's doing, and that's what she wants to do, and the transaction that she is engaging in with a client is lawful, you have zero jurisdiction over that. None. You cannot tell people what they can and cannot do with their own bodies. This body, this is private property. This hair on my arm is private property. The saliva in my mouth is private property. My teeth, my eyes, my toenails, all of this stuff is private property. My right to use my body how I see fit, so long as I don't violate anybody else's rights, is private property. Boy. I've done it and have all the wrong ones, but I get your argument. I just was the only one fighting. Yeah, they'll wear you out, Jerome, man. I know, man. They'll wear you out, fam. But have jurisdiction 3 legs, must be standing to get it. Master-servant relationship. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I've read cases where they say exactly that. The servant cannot be superior to the master, or the whatever is created cannot be superior to the creator. And in a sense, what they're saying is when they're talking about municipalities in regards to the state. The legislature created these municipalities or whatever. So therefore, the legislature is superior to the municipalities. Okay, using that rationality, that logic, that makes perfect sense to me. So now I got to ask, would it be a reasonable conclusion to conclude that because the sovereign people of, let's say, Georgia created the legislature, then that means the sovereign people or the creator of the legislature, and so in other words, the legislature is a byproduct of the sovereign people of Georgia, or whatever you want to call it. So what I'm trying to say is the people are superior to the that's exactly what it means. But you go up in there and you go into court and you start talking about this stuff, they want to call you a sovereign citizen. Them folks are committing treason when they call you a sovereign citizen. That's what they're doing. Ask them, get them to admit on the record that they are contending that the people of Georgia are not sovereign. See if you can get them to admit it on the record. I don't think they're gonna do it, because the office of that judicial authority that they have been invested with does not belong to them. That title judge does not belong to them. That building that they are sitting in does not belong to them. If it did, they would not be soliciting your vote to sit in that seat. If they were sovereign, you're a damn fool if you think that they would ask you for your permission to be a judge. No, hell no, they wouldn't. Nothing has overturned Stump v. Sparksman. And once you get that ruling, become marked by your statute, says all cases. Men and women stand on the Constitution. The corporation is under the Constitution. I can agree with that. Man, Jerome, that the case that I read in Georgia, I think it's Arnold v. Kemp. He got a great argument. He got a great argument because of a social compact. Social compact. Now, don't get me wrong. I do believe that some true judicial officers that were created by the constitutions in all the states or whatever, I do believe that in some cases they should be entitled to judicial immunity. But not for the reasons that in the cases that I've seen, but the cases that I've seen, some of them need to be in jail. But anyway, I think whenever, I don't know when it's gonna happen, but people are so lost. So I don't know if it's ever going to happen, but judicial immunity needs to be, the standard for judicial immunity needs to be modified, or it needs to be extremely limited. Arnold v. Kemp is still pending. I talked to the guy who litigated that case, and he says that they all in cahoots working together against him in that case. And I believe him. I believe him. So he makes a compelling argument that the duty, if the government basically, if they are not adhering to the terms and conditions of the social contract that they have with the sovereign people of the state or whatever, then by their own conduct or whatever, that voids the social contract, the contract, and you no longer have to be obedient to them, or so to speak, something along those lines. And that's equity. Yeah. How you gonna demand that I follow the law, but you don't, and you're the subject and I'm not? Come on, man. It don't make no sense. Make zero sense, man. I've used his work. That's good. In South Carolina and Virginia are the last two states without oversight of the judiciary. They do in-house oversight, and their rulings and bar grievances are not public. Makes you think, motherfucker, what you used to be on his channel, motherfucker, what they hiding? They hiding something. You're hiding something. That's a conflict of interest in itself, because they all working together. They're all working together. All working together. This is what they do, man. This is what they do, y'all. Just violate your rights and they just think they can do whatever they want to do. Man, I'm going to tell y'all my story, how I got involved in this. It was back, I think it was like 2012 maybe. You know, I'm traveling down the road. I'm into all these conspiracy theories at this particular time. I think I was maybe 21 or 22. So I'm listening to a documentary on Prescott Bush. And I see like 5 or 6 police officers in police cars. They're in the middle of the road. So I'm traveling down the road, like I'm going like maybe 10 or 15 miles per hour because I'm in the projects and they got speed bumps and stuff out here. Plus it'd be kids out there in the road. So I'm just cruising about 10 or 15 miles per hour. And so I stopped because the police in the way. And I, once I stopped, they start moving out of the way. So I'm thinking that they are letting me by, when in fact they are trapping me. So I travel on up a little bit more, and I see like 2 or 3 police officers in front of my car, like this. Put your hands up. And I said, huh? Like what? So I'm looking around because I don't know who he's talking to. I'm thinking that they're talking to somebody else. So when I'm looking around, I'm shocked. I don't know what's going on. So it's like 3 police officers at the side of my car. One of them has a gun drawn. They snatch my door open and say, get the fuck out of the car. Or whatever. They got a gun drawn on me and everything, y'all. So my car is still in drive. The motor is still running. And they are pulling on me. They're trying to snatch me out of my car. So as they're doing this, I'm trying to put the car in park so it don't go nowhere and hit something. So they snatch me out the car, throw me to the ground, knee in my back, everything. And I say, give me 1 second. Hold on. Sorry about that. And I say, there's a sergeant out there at this time. There's going to always be either a corporal or a sergeant. Most of the times when you're getting arrested, it's going to be some high-ranking so-called officer out there. So anyway, a sergeant comes, so he on the scene, he don't do nothing. He ain't trying to stop them, but he don't do nothing. I'm like, man, what the fuck y'all do all this shit to me for? What happened? What's going on? This man looks, I'm on the ground. He's standing up like he just above me, like he just the man. He black too. Let me tell y'all what this house nigga said to me. Because you don't have on a seatbelt. I flipped the fuck out. Nigga, what? What? You did all of this because I don't have on a fucking seatbelt? He was lying, by the way. Because the first thing out of their mouth, in a traffic stop should have been license, registration, and proof of insurance. He was lying. But anyway, that's how I got started. When that happened to me, I didn't know what to do. I couldn't afford a so-called attorney. I didn't know what to do. I was calling folks and I couldn't get no help. And I told myself, this ain't gonna happen no more. And if it do, I'm gonna sue them motherfuckers. And that's exactly what I did. That's exactly what I did. And it ain't happened no more in a minute. It ain't happened no more in a while. That's my story. That's how I got started. That particular case, I took the case to trial. I lost. I didn't know what I was doing, and I ended up doing 27 days in jail because of that. And when I tell y'all I ain't do nothing, like I didn't do nothing to deserve that. They had no lawful purpose for doing that to me, none. But I didn't know what I was doing at the time, and I couldn't afford no attorney, you know. But anyway, it's a lesson learned. Lesson learned. It's gonna be all right though. Lesson learned. Let's see. What else we got? Let's see. I'm getting hungry, y'all. I'm about to get up off here. I'm getting hungry. I done worked up appetite. All right, I'm gonna give y'all probably about 5 minutes. 5 minutes, y'all, and I'm gonna get on up out of here if I don't have any more questions. And I'm gonna go ahead and get on up out of here. Any more questions before I leave, y'all? Let's see. I ain't starving, but I'm hungry. Golly. Man, I'm hungry. Get on up out of here, man. So any more questions, y'all? Any more questions? Have you heard anything about your writ of mandamus? I didn't even file a writ of mandamus. I was reading cases, and as I was reading the cases, hold on, I'm trying to see what was I filing a writ of mandamus for? Was it for a motion to dismiss? I forgot what I was filing it for, but long story short, I believe I found a case that basically made me not want to file my writ of mandamus. So instead, I think I filed, well, I'm in the process of an appeal right now in an appellate court. And I'm working on a brief for that, for my case. The judge you threatened. Writ of mandamus. I know what you're talking about, Jerome, but I don't know. Yeah, I think you're talking about when I threatened to file a claim against his bond and stuff like that. But I can't forget. I can't think of the reason that I decided not to file the writ. I forgot. Well, I would have to go back and actually read the writ because I forgot. Let's see. Man, I am hungry, y'all. Woo. Hungry. Do y'all I know I did a few videos on police officers who get denied qualified immunity when they have a warrant. So if y'all have watched any of those videos, are those videos helping y'all? Hopefully that they are. They're actually helping me also. So where are you at right now, Jerome, in any of your cases in state court? In state court, indemnity. Yes, sir. Waiting for 2 injunctions at federal. Okay. All right. I was in a junkie. I was in a junkie. I was moving full of my stuff. Cop lied, ran, stop sign. Judge, now I'm ruling against my officer. Judge, I'm not ruling against my officer. I know they all working together, man. I ain't surprised by none of that, man. I'm just not surprised. But they all working together. Notice he called him an officer. The judge is an officer. An officer of what, though? An officer of that corporation? Motherfucking because they do call, members of a corporation, they do call them officers. Just letting y'all know. And one appeal brief at a Fed appeal. Okay, cool, Jerome, cool. Let me give you some words of encouragement, Jerome. It's okay, man. You know what I'm saying? It's okay if the case doesn't go your way. It's okay. It's unfortunate, but it's okay. Just don't give up, because you when you going through stuff like this and you don't have the mental capacity to understand this legalese BS, that's okay. But just keep studying. It's gonna be clear to you. Sooner or later, it's gonna become clear to you. I'm talking about it's just gonna be as clear as this ball of water. This is how clear it's gonna be one day. And then you're gonna be unstoppable one day. As long as you don't give up, you're gonna be unstoppable. This legalese stuff, I read cases. Sometimes I have to read a case, like it don't even be a whole case. It might be a sentence in the case. And I have to read this sentence over and over because I don't understand it. But I don't give up, man. I don't give up. I got child support attorney fired, though. Fired from your case or fired from the firm? Let's see. Y'all, that child support remedy book, that's cold information, man. The guy who wrote it, he says it's not legal advice. Okay, but it's something for you to. I'm here to tell you, even though I'm not, so I can't give you so-called legal advice or whatever, but I'm here to tell you that the remedy that is mentioned in that book is an equity. That's an equitable remedy. I'm no longer on DSS case. She got exposed for putting fraud upon the court. So did they disbar her? She got snatched and replaced by Attorney General. They probably, I don't know. They probably didn't disbar her. I don't know. I'm not sure on disbar. Okay. Okay. I found some information on how to get judges recused. And from what I was reading a little, that they were drawing a distinction between disqualified and recusal or something like that. So I'll have to study that a little bit more. But look, yeah, I'm hungry, I'm tired. So I'm gonna get on up out of here. I think I've been on here for about an hour and 30 minutes. Yeah, about an hour and 30 minutes. Yeah, I'm gonna get on up out of here, y'all. I'll put this live up. I mean, I'll leave the video up later on tonight. But I'm gonna get on up out of here. Everybody enjoy your weekend. Stay safe. And if you in the hood, stay dangerous. Y'all know how it go. Don't go looking for trouble. But anyway, and if you just so happen to come to an encounter with a police officer or whatever, and you don't know what to say, then shut the hell up. Play dumb, act like you don't know what's going on. Just remember everything that happened to you and be looking at names. That's what you do. I'm gonna get on up out of here, man. Peace. The Supreme Litigate is out.